Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're taking a deep dives into something I think we all care about a lot, actually. Building resilience in our kids.
Absolutely.
And, you've given me some fantastic material to work with,
Yeah.
focusing on things like fostering independence and problem-solving skills,
Mm.
and even some really actionable advice on how to help our kids bounce back from setbacks.
It's a great topic.
It is. So let's jump right in.
Okay.
One thing that really stood out to me in all this material is just how important it is to foster independence in our kids.
Right.
It's almost like it's presented as this foundational piece
Mm-hmm.
of the resilience puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can help them become more independent,
Yeah.
that somehow strengthens their ability to deal with challenges later on.
It really is. When kids can do things for themselves, it builds their confidence,
Yeah.
gives them the sense of, hey, I can handle things, which is, pretty essential when they're facing tough situations.
It's so true. And thinking about that, like what are some ways that parents can actually encourage that independence?
Well, one thing that all the experts seem to agree on is letting go of some control.
Oh, that's hard.
It is. It is. We all want to protect our kids.
Of course.
But sometimes we got to step back and let them try things on their own, even if it means they'll make some mistakes along the way.
I was going to say, I think that's the part that trips a lot of parents up, right? Like we see them struggling and we just instinctively want to jump in and fix it. Yeah, exactly. But the research you gave me actually suggests that sometimes the best thing we can do
Resist that.
resist that urge. Yeah. There was this one article that even called it the parental impatience trap.
Oh, I love that.
Right. And it suggested this little exercise. Next time your child is struggling with something, before you jump in, ask yourself,
Okay.
is this something they can figure out with a little guidance? Or is it truly beyond their capabilities?
I love that. That's a great question.
It's a good one, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of forces you to pause
Hmm.
and really assess the situation before you swoop in and take over.
Exactly. And sometimes just that pause is all it takes.
Yeah.
You give them a minute and suddenly they've worked it out themselves.
And they feel so proud. Right.
Exactly. And that feeling of accomplishment, that's what builds resilience.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But okay, so what about setbacks?
Mm.
Because let's face it, no matter how independent we raise our kids, they're going to hit bumps on the road.
Oh, definitely.
Right. And how we react to those setbacks can have a huge impact on their resilience too.
Absolutely. Our kids are always watching us.
Always.
If we freak out over every little thing, well, they'll learn to do the same.
Right.
But if we can stay calm and model that problem-solving approach, that can really help them too.
It reminds me of this time my son was learning to ride his bike without training wheels.
Oh, I remember those days.
Oh, it's so tough to watch,
I
right?
know.
But he kept falling, and I could see him getting so frustrated. And my first instinct was totally to run over and be like, "Oh, honey, are you okay?" But then I remembered something from one of your articles about the growth mindset and how, effort leads to improvement.
And that changed how you reacted.
It did. Instead of just comforting him, I pointed out how much progress he had already made.
Oh, I love that.
Like, look, you're almost there. You're getting better with every try.
Yeah,
And I reminded him, falling is part of learning.
that's true.
And you know what? It really shifted his attitude.
Really?
He totally did. He got back on that bike with this newfound determination, and pretty soon he was riding like a pro.
That's amazing. You helped him reframe that setback as a learning opportunity.
I did, thanks to your research.
There you go. See? It works. But,
Hmm.
what about those times when they get really stuck?
Oh, yeah.
Like they've tried everything they can think of and they just can't seem to solve the problem.
Yeah, for sure. That's where I think having those problem-solving skills that we talked about earlier really comes in handy.
Yeah.
And you have some awesome tips on that in your materials. One that I thought was particularly clever was the 5 whys technique.
Oh, yeah, the 5 whys. I use that all the time with my kids.
Really?
Yeah. It's so simple, but it's so effective. You just keep asking why until you get to the root cause of the problem.
So like, why are you upset? And they say, because my toy broke. And then you're like, well, why did your toy break?
Exactly. And you keep going.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the kids, they think it's a game,
Right.
but what they're actually doing is learning critical thinking skills.
Sneaky parenting at its finest.
Oh.
That's awesome. So to kind of sum all this up, it seems like the key to building resilience in our kids is this multifaceted approach, right?
Mhm.
We encourage their independence,
Right.
but we also give them the tools and the mindset they need to handle the challenges that come their way.
Right.
We model a healthy response to those setbacks,
Yeah.
and we guide them through the problem-solving process.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, you gave me the material.
That's true. That's true. And as we wrap up, I'd love for everyone listening to just take a moment and consider this. How can you create an environment
Yeah.
where your kids feel safe to take risks,
Mm.
knowing that you'll be there to support them
Yeah.
through all the inevitable stumbles?
That is such a good question. And that is something worth thinking about for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you found it helpful, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.